Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about something that so many of us deal with, anxiety. We all know what it's like to worry, right? But when does that worry cross a line and become something more? That's what we're going to unpack today.
All right, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at how anxiety can actually be a good thing, and when it's not. Then we'll get into what happens when worry really takes over, what causes it, and crucially, how to find relief. We'll wrap things up with some in-the-moment coping skills and what you can do on your own path to feeling better.
Okay, let's dive right into section 1. We're talking about anxiety as both a friend and a foe. I know, friend might sound weird, but stick with me here.
And really, this quote says it all. Anxiety isn't some strange thing only a few people experience. Nope, it's totally human. You know that feeling you get before a big presentation or a first date? That's your anxiety system kicking in, and it's a completely normal response to stress.
So what's actually going on inside your body? Think of it like a built-in alarm system. It's the classic fight-or-flight response. Your body gets flooded with stress hormones to make you super sharp and ready to handle danger. And you know what? It's an incredibly useful feature to have. And this is where we get to the heart of it. It's a double-edged sword, right? On one hand, everyday anxiety gives you a little push. It keeps you on your toes. It's temporary. But when we're talking about an anxiety disorder, that's a whole different ballgame. The fear isn't temporary anymore. It's big, it's persistent, and it shows up even when there's no real danger. And that's when it starts getting in the way of just living. Okay, so let's talk about what happens when that worry does take over. What does that actually mean? We're going to define what anxiety disorders are, and you might be surprised just how many people are dealing with them. Just look at this number for a second. $359 million. That's how many people around the world were dealing with an anxiety disorder back in 2021. It's a massive number, and it's such an important reminder that if you're going through this, you are absolutely not alone. And if we zoom in a little closer, it's the same story. Look at Australia. About a quarter of the population is affected in their lifetime. In the US, it's even higher, around a third of all adults. So yeah, this isn't some rare condition. It's a really common part of life for a lot of people. You know, anxiety disorder is actually a big umbrella term. It covers a bunch of different things. You've got generalized anxiety disorder, or GAD, which is like a constant hum of worry about all sorts of everyday stuff. Then there's panic disorder, with those sudden, overwhelming panic attacks, and social anxiety, that intense fear of being judged, or phobias, which are tied to one specific thing, like spiders or heights. So, that's the big question, isn't it? What causes all this? Where do these disorders even come from?
Well, the truth is, there's no single simple answer. It's never just one thing. It's usually a really complex mix of different factors all coming together.
Yeah, there's a whole range of things that can play a part. It could be in your genes, a family history. It could be from something traumatic that happened in your life. Or it could be from ongoing stress, from work, money, you name it. And most of the time, it's a combination of a few of these things, all tangled up together. Okay, now for the really important part. And it's good news. Even though the causes can be complicated, there are fantastic, proven treatments out there that really, truly make a difference. So, treatment usually boils down to two main approaches: talking therapy and medication. Therapy is all about working with a professional to learn new ways of thinking and coping, building skills for the long haul. Medication, on the other hand, can help manage the symptoms directly, and very often using them both together is the most effective path. And one of the heavy hitters in the therapy world is called cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. It's super practical. It basically teaches you how to spot those anxious thoughts as they happen, question them, and then change how you react. It's a really powerful tool. But here's the tough part. We have these great treatments, but most people aren't getting them. There's what's called a treatment gap. Think about it. Only about 1 out of every 4 people who needs help actually gets it. Things like stigma or just not being able to find or afford care are huge, huge barriers. And that treatment gap is exactly why it's so important to talk about what you can do for yourself. Because even while you're seeking professional help, or if it's not accessible right now, there are absolutely things you can do every single day to manage anxiety.
Okay, let's walk through 5 really practical things you can try. Number 1, adopt a growth mindset. That just means believing you can get better. It's not a fixed thing. 2, start noticing what's happening in your body without freaking out. A racing heart is just a racing heart. It's uncomfortable, sure, but it's not dangerous. 3, breathe. Seriously. Slow, deep breaths can calm everything down almost instantly. 4, listen to your self-talk. If you catch yourself thinking, I can't do this, try replacing it with, this is hard, but I can try. And number 5, and this is a big one, gently face the thing you're scared of. Avoiding it actually gives the anxiety more power over time.
And all of these coping skills work so much better when you've got a solid foundation. You know, the basics, moving your body, even just a walk, trying to get decent sleep, eating regular meals. All that stuff really builds up your resilience and makes it easier to handle the tough moments.
All right, we have covered a ton of ground, from brain chemistry all the way to breathing exercises. So let's bring it home. Let's talk about the single most important thing to remember.
So after all of that, what's the big takeaway here? What's the one thing you should walk away with? It's this. Anxiety disorders are real, they are common, and they are so treatable. This is not a personal failure or a sign that you're weak. It's a health condition, just like any other, and there are clear paths to getting better.
And I think it's crucial to understand what recovery means. The goal isn't to never feel anxious again. That's impossible. Anxiety is part of being human. The real goal is to get to a place where it doesn't run the show anymore, where you are in charge of your life, not your anxiety.
So hopefully this has given you a much clearer picture of what anxiety disorders are all about, because understanding is always the first step. And that just leaves one question. What will your next step be?